not only love a woman who's behind the scenes, but a woman who needed herself to be tamed. Let me show you. Remember this mess? I did like 2 videos at least on this trash. Sandra Bullock's character, super successful woman, very direct, a great boss. Like, this woman had her act together, and then this loser comes into it, and now she's the one who gets humbled and humiliated. They literally have her down on her knees to make her softer because, you know, she's just a boss bitch, and you know, no man will ever love her unless she does this, okay? Let me show you how that is exactly like the way they frame Robert Downey Jr.'s marriage. So this was even before they had kids and stuff. I'm sure this woman is like even more exhausted now because first she was just parenting his child from his first marriage that failed because of his addiction and bad boy tortured soul life, right? Like after dragging that woman through hell, he lost that marriage. He also cheated on her. That's another video. And then he has a kid. And so this woman comes in, the Iron Woman comes in and saves the day. This brilliant troubled star. God! A tragic, brilliant, bad boy train wreck. And of course, now they frame this as opposites attract. Opposites attract. You got a bad boy and then you have this straight edge woman. You know, she's a cheerful marathon running young producer from the suburbs of Chicago. I honestly didn't know anyone who had a wrong problem. She's very structured with firm boundaries. I wish this woman had a man in her life who wanted her to share the spotlight. But no, he wants to be the main star. And she is just the one that he gives, you know, compliments to. She's Mrs. Robert Downey Jr. She's the Rock, like he calls her. You are my bedrock. Don't be their bedrock, y'all. They just smash things against you. She's known as the miracle that saved Robert Downey Jr. Let me just show y'all how they met. They met when he was starting to try to rehab his reputation and his career. She met him at one of his lowest points. He had just spent close to a year in jail and finished court-ordered rehab. And this is after just like years and years and years and years of trouble. They found him in a child's bed. Like this dude he's lucky to be alive. He strung Sarah Jessica Parker along where she literally said it was like she learned how to be a mother by dating this man. So the only reason he got this role that he met her in that on this movie is because he agreed because he was so unreliable. He was such just a mess, you know? And remember, Lindsay Lohan, where's that grace for her? This man was worse than Lindsay Lohan, and she's a joke. But this guy just keeps a million chances because he's always got a woman who'll come in and usher in his success. So they wouldn't even pay him till he finished the film. That's how unreliable and untrustworthy this man was. I mean, this dude was like, okay, gun blank, man. You know, like, look at all this. So this woman, I love this. Never a girl who thought about getting married. Relationships weren't her priority. She wanted to be a producer, right? That's all she wanted. She didn't even care about kids. She even admitted she had extreme naivety and ignorance about, you know, addiction. And she's learned a lot since being with this guy. And I hate that. She's like, I think there's something about running towards what scares you. You know, sure. You could say that about a lot of things. I could say that about the dude that I dated. I was scared of dating him. And then he almost... Okay, so be careful how, like, you can take a great quote and apply it to the worst decisions ever. Like I said in my last video, this man had... He screwed over all the women that tried to help him get sober, and then he met her when he was sober. He was pretty newly sober, so he relapsed once, and she saw his Darth Vader side and was like, no. If you want to be with me, I will not, you know, basically, it's not like, I'm not going to enable you, blah, blah, blah. Which, I mean, she's basically become his mother and his primary caregiver, but he met her after he got sober. Men do not like having a woman who reminds them of what a loser they were, which is why they always leave women who stick with them through all this addiction. They have no respect for women because these women don't respect themselves because they're centering these men and pouring into these men and losing themselves in the process. And men pay attention. They know we're doing that and they hate us for all of our sacrifice. So he meets a woman who's like, yep, if you want to be with me, you're not drinking. And like I said in the last video, please don't believe that you're going to be that woman who's going to keep him sober. You can't. You cannot. He'll probably relapse at a certain point, given how much Hollywood still like props up his fragile ego. But we'll see. I hope he doesn't. There's something about her that's just so pure and right, unlike those other women who put up with all my crap. He's called her his primary caregiver, his rock, and other people are like, yeah, please, like, don't break up with this man ever. Like Guy Ritchie said, he would be a terrible person to have on set, a pain in the butt if Susan didn't police him. So, as a producer, she's used to doing so much work, which is, like I said before, most marriages under patriarchy is men taking all these awards and being like, look what all I did. And it's really a woman who did all that stuff behind the scenes, who's behind all of his success. And then maybe he'll be like, I just want to thank my wife for putting up with me. This stuff is so normalized that even when Kieran won last night, I'm so happy for him. I love that he won. But it is so normalized for them to say, I want to thank my wife who puts up with this. Like, you know how men will give each other advice? Like, marry the woman who will tolerate you. That is literally how they think. Don't marry the woman you love. Marry the woman who will put up with you. That is so mainstream, that advice. And it is so stupid because that means just like woman is literally marrying into martyrdom, which makes sense. That's what we've always been expected, but I'm over it. No more martyrdom. So Robert Downey Jr.'s wife has even said, Susan has said, I don't know if I'd say it's easy working with him. Apparently he's super weird and they just have to follow him everywhere. He made them live in a house with like no furniture in it. He makes them drag everything to his movie location. Like they basically they are on Robert Downey Jr.'s adventure. Her and their children. And if she's okay with that, sure. That's a lot of work for an addict who has a terrible track record with women. He even said there can only be one rock star in our relationship, and I'm fine with that. I've always been someone who would rather have someone compliment me when I'm out of the room than to my face, whereas Robert is the opposite. So I'm happy to support him. Yeah. These insecure men need applause, they need awards, they need constant validation, but they also need a woman behind the scenes doing literally everything or they would become unhinged. It is so much work to keep these self-destructive, reckless bad boys from relapsing. And it's not because he loves her so much. It sounds like she keeps tabs on him. She polices him. Do you want to do that? I don't want to be a policeman. I hate cops. She's his manager basically when she's not busy doing his career. She's, the stepmom. And then this was an interview before they had kids. So she's got like 2 kids with him, plus his stepkid, plus him. That's 4 children. She never even wanted kids. Now she's got 4. He even says, there's a saying behind every good man is an incredible woman. I owe all my success to her. Why? Because she's the reason why he got these life-changing roles. Look at that. Sherlock, Tony Starr, she was behind that. Look at the way this is the Sandra Bullock callback. But it wasn't a one-way street by any means. Robert has also had an impact on his wife. Before meeting Robert, Susan was very focused, driven, rigid, work-oriented. I didn't care about having a family or making a home. I didn't think about kids. And then I had someone who came in as a tornado, this creative and beautiful ball of insane energy and passion, and it completely opened me up. Open you up to what? A lot of work? Coming from the suburbs, the school valedictorian who never partied is now managing full-time a heroin addict. It's never boring, I bet. It's almost a Peter Pan kind of never grow up mentality. No wonder he called her his primary caregiver. Loves that she could care less about him kissing women. What is it she likes so much about him? He's clean. Like he literally takes baths. His hygiene. And he loves domestic maintenance. It gets me off. But look at the way he's like, her mind is so crazy. And basically she's managing him. He just worries about washing his butt, flossing, doing some chores. And she does everything else. Look at how he talks about her. I defer to her. I just wasn't raised right. So chances are I'm going to have some caca takes on things. Not only that, but he sounds like he's like a handful. Look at that. One of the first times she hung out with him, they went to go get Japanese food and he brought oatmeal along. His own packet. The box of various herbs and stuff. He started doing yoga moves. I mean, he's interesting but weird. It just blows my mind how capable she is and functioning in life. Reminds me of her. And then she got with the funny, quirky loser. He gets to ride on her coattail. Not the rehab. Deserve more than the one who puts up with them.